Hello, my name is Luke Carter. This is Ribbit, my assistant, and this is my submission for the Senior Design Manager, Production Design. Me and my assistant will go through bullet point by bullet point and explain my experience and why I'm a perfect fit for this position. Let's put it up here. I've done this before at Yahoo. I was the lead production designer, creating a team from scratch. Yahoo had never had a production design team before. I was in charge of hiring, interviewing, onboarding, creating the documentation, creating the structure, doing all of the work, and I helped my team member who had never been a production designer before identify projects and opportunities that would give her experience in order to become a product designer and figure out which team that she would enjoy most working with and what type of work that she would most enjoy doing at Yahoo. While manager was not on my job title, I definitely have management experience. Also, I taught several semesters at the Academy of Art, also at Parsons School of Design, helping students, sometimes between 30 and 46 each semester, figure out what they want to do with their skills that I was teaching them. So while no management experience technically as a title, I definitely have management experience. I've been doing production design for 22 years. I've been using a computer since I was 6, and I've had an amazing career path. So I definitely think that I'm in the position to help guide the career path of others. You can check out my YouTube channel and my TikTok for some career tips that I've already given, if you'd like. As far as the implementation and maintenance, I've been managing very large systems at very large companies. I specialize in transitioning design systems, and I've done so for companies such as T-Mobile, Aon, and Delta Dental. I've worked at Meta, formerly Facebook, on the Messenger team and on the Instagram team, helping them refine and implement their system. One of the coolest workflows that I figured out is how to transition older files into a new design system without being destructive. How does that work? You essentially put the new component in the old one, put a little notice saying that it'll be updated at this point, and then with some automation, you can choose whether you want to see your current file in the old system or the new system. I'm definitely used to collaborating with feature teams in order to see how I can help. I do understand that it's really hard to prioritize fine-tuning whenever you have higher priorities. So a workflow that I've come up with is just to basically stalk everybody. I follow everyone's pull requests, and any image changes, if I see that it's been approved but not merged yet, I'll contact the engineer. I'll pull up my list of small changes and say, hey, would you mind changing this 2 pixels? That way we can have consistency for these other pages. And they'll say, sure. It's really hard to request priority for small changes, but it's really easy to dive in whenever work in that area is already being done. It's worked like a charm. I love documentation and defining and refining. That's been my entire career. My mindset is that it always can be better, but there never should be just one way. For example, if a certain layout works for one team and another layout works for another, as far as how the component library is made, then we A/B test it. We try it out. My work as a production designer is to make the work for the teams I work with faster and easier. So if that takes a little more work on my end, it's not a problem in the long run, due to the fact that some work on my end that might seem tedious will help designers and engineers 10x, 100x times because there's more of them than me. Working with engineering partners by seeing what they're working on directly and not bugging them definitely helps with QA. So I think that point is covered. Partnering with design technologists is one of my favorite things to do because I was one. I was also the founding member of the design tools team at Airbnb. I think I'd be a great person in order to identify areas to automate, and also I'd be able to drum up a prototype. That way the design technologist can hit the ground running and already have a concept in place, and it would be an even faster process. I'm a firm believer in creating and maintaining documentation. I also like to put it wherever I can. So that might be a retrieval augmented generation system. That might be small links inside of the Figma files with pop-up videos on how this component works. Think VH1 pop-up videos, but for Figma. My favorite thing to do in order to get documentation from designers, because documentation, let's face it, is a pain, I'll just schedule a meeting with them, ask if I can record it, say, tell me about this component and where it should be used, and then I just make documentation based off that. That way the designer doesn't have to take time out of their busy day in order to specifically write it down, which is sometimes cumbersome. I also, before I get to the meeting, from the context that I have and any resources that I have, I'll make a draft so that way they have a starting point in order to go off of rather than starting from scratch. I love mentoring. I love helping people achieve what they want to do. That's been my entire career. I think that's pretty much proven on my YouTube channel and TikTok, so I'll leave it at that. So for 12 years for production design, I have 22, and I've been teaching for a long time and worked at Yahoo for over a year, so I think I'm good on that. So yeah, what's next? Working at, bless you, Working for Messenger at that time was a unique experience because they were transitioning from Sketch to Figma, and it was a large-scale system. We ran into every issue possible, and due to the amount of designers and engineers using that system, I have all of the tricks that I've learned ready to apply to this new position. Also, doing the transition for different industries, I learned other hacks as well. One of my coolest hacks that I did at Yahoo was what I call bridge work. Essentially, whenever a project was passed on and they had a large amount of engineers and just a small team of designers, the designers had to move on to the next project. Engineers naturally would do their analysis and write in the Slack channel to clarify certain things in order for the process to go smoothly. However, that was overwhelming for the designers. Ribbit agrees. So I went ahead and made a JIRA ticket in thread for each question, making sure to group all of them. If I could answer the question, I would answer it myself with documentation that I had, and then CC the designers, letting them jump in if they needed. Otherwise, I would schedule 2 meetings a week with the designers. I would notify the engineers that the meetings would be held at a certain time, and if their question could wait until then. Normally, they would say yes. Otherwise, if they would need to escalate, I would reach out to the designer with their concern. Whenever the designers were in the meeting, I would have all of the questions ready with draft answers so they could just say, yes, that's it, let's change this, and optimize their time, relieve their stress, because I would kick them out of the Slack channel, so that way they could focus on the project that they were working on, but still have oversight into how the project that they delivered was being executed. I have a lot of experience in redlining, and I use 8 specs. I also provide text code, so that way the engineers don't have to focus. I make sure to have every measurement shown, so that way engineers can save time, and all code ready in a text file so they can copy and paste easily and not have to click around in Figma so much. For localization, I built air shots. I love working with localization teams because it's a really interesting area to automate. For accessibility, I worked with Michael Su on the DLS Accessibility Initiative. I was the main organizer of the files and the source of truth, and I created a tool called Air April. It might even still be live on your server that identified all of the designs from all of the designers for each feature. That way Brian could review, and it was easy to track who had done what since there was a large number of designers working on that project. I'm very familiar with dev mode. Past year, I've been working with AI every single day. I can make a Figma plugin for anything, and I can automate anything. I know that's a bold statement, but I can back it up. If you'd like to give me a challenge, I'd be happy to do it. I love partnering with engineers because it's always an opportunity for me to learn new workflows. One of the first things I do for everyone that I work with is to send out communication preferences and how they like to get their specs. Each individual is a unique person, has their own workflow, and it's my job as a production designer to make sure that their workflow is respected and they get the delivery and what works best for them. And since I can automate anything, it's pretty easy for me. I just save the particular automations based off their request and deliver it in the way that they like. From my agency experience as a production designer and all the Adobe tools and Lottie. Cinema 4D, have used it and know how to use it a little bit, but definitely can learn as needed. So that's it. I'd really be perfect for this role. I'd really be excited to work for Airbnb again. And I feel that I'd be the best candidate due to my experience with working with AI, being on the forefront of how to use this amazing tool in order to automate and make everyone a manager of their work using the AI as a task. And also with the unique experience of working with large systems and many designers and engineers and being the middle person, helping everyone do their best work. Another benefit, I've worked for Airbnb before, so I can jump in and hit the ground running. It would be great to move back from alumni to official active Air fan. Thank you so much. Bye, Ribbit. Tell them bye.